Gratitude is one of those things that's going to change your life in terms of happiness. The more grateful you can be, the happier you're going to be. The less grateful you are, the more miserable you're going to be. You should grow up. Yeah. The goal of life maybe is to die as young as possible, as late as possible. We tell you guys, grow up, stop that, don't wear the cape, do not fight Darth Maul and Vons. What is wrong with you? Grow the hell up. Anyway, so how come you guys don't have any imagination? I told you guys before, I did my student teaching in this room. I had 2 master teachers. One of them was Mrs. Hall. Mrs. Hall, she retired like at 35 years or something like that, 37 years she was teaching. And the only reason she retired was because when we came back from COVID, people were wearing masks, and she didn't want to teach with people wearing masks because you can't see people's faces, you can't make connections. But I mean, whatever it was, 35, 37 years, she was still acting like it was her 2nd or 3rd year. She was excited, she loved it, she enjoyed it. Everybody loved Mrs. Hall. I never heard negative things about her from students. Everyone loved her. Anything that's positive in me as a teacher comes from Mrs. Hall. Again, I was her student teacher, and she gave me some advice where the only criticism that she had of my teaching at the time was she said that I talked too much. I'm not sure where that comes from, but she would put me on a timer, and she'd say, you have a timer on how long you can talk. And so whenever I talk to her now, she always asks me, are you still talking for a long time? And I say, yes. I never give up who I am. I had another master teacher, I won't mention her name, but from her, I learned everything about what not to do. What not to do. Like, everything killed this person. If you sprayed like perfume or cologne, she would have like allergic reactions and almost pass out in the classroom. And if you had penis in the classroom, it almost killed her. Everything was a complaint with this person. And she taught me the same thing, like about 35 years or so. She taught a while. But I learned everything about what not to do and who not to be from that person. So sometimes it's good to have both, man. I mean, one of the reasons I read so much is because when I was growing up, I looked around my neighborhood, and we had a lot of parties all the time, man. But we had nothing to celebrate. We were just partying to party. We have parties for birthdays, of course, but we would look for shit to party about because we weren't celebrating graduations. We weren't celebrating like long anniversaries. We weren't celebrating like job promotions. But one thing I remember thinking back to was seeing my friends' houses, and one day, I don't know why I got in my head, I counted up how many television screens that they had. And then I would count up how many books they had in the house. And all of that stuff about why my neighborhood was so messed up was resonating with me at that point. We had all kinds of TV screens, all kinds of computer screens, all kinds of computer consoles, but no books. We had nothing to celebrate. I thought this idea back then. See what you guys think of it. Rather than having a birthday every year, so there's nothing special about your birthday. It's like you're going to celebrate the day that you fell out of your mom. Everybody does that, unless you got pulled out through a cut, whatever. Instead of having a birthday, we should have an achievement day, which means you pull together all of your friends, you have the party, and you're celebrating your biggest accomplishment from the past year. I wonder how many of us would skip it this year, or skip it next year, or skip it. But you can't do this bullshit of like, I'm gonna celebrate my kids because my kids are my greatest accomplishment. No. It has to be something that you actually did yourself in the past year, and you accomplished something positive. Not through somebody else, but something that you actually did. I bet we would probably not have nearly as many celebrations, but I wonder if we would get to work a bit more because we'd be embarrassed about having nothing to celebrate, later on this year. Yeah. Do you think there's a connection between the connections you make and how you do in life? Because people are out there just like stars, but they're just kind of bouncing around. But if you can connect them, they give you a sign of a bigger picture. Like one of the things I pride myself on, I can tell you about this. I love connecting people, man. Like if I find, if you tell me, I was using an example yesterday actually. I had this former student who was telling me that she really wanted to work as a medical examiner, dead bodies. And who comes along and says, oh, I want to work with dead people. But she really wanted to. And people thought that she was really weird for it. Of course. And I think I ended up finally realizing that she just said that because she wanted to sound weird, I think. Because she would talk about it all the time, and I think she kind of got a sense that it would mess people up. So it turns out my best friend's sister is the lead medical examiner at a police department outside of Atlanta. That's exactly what she does. She runs an office of medical examiners. And I thought, dude, what are the odds? Martisa's sister. So I talked to her and said, hey, I've got this student. She really wants to work in this field. Can I connect you guys? And she said, absolutely. Oh, it'd be so great. So few women want to do this. So few people want to do this. So I went to my student and said, look, I got this person. Here's her contact information. She would love to talk to you. She graduated like 4 years ago? Yeah, she still hasn't talked to her. Still hasn't reached out to her. I mentioned every time I still ask her all the time, so have you reached out to so-and-so? No, not yet, still doing, working through. So I found that one of the best ways to get a person out of your life is to help them accomplish the goals they want to accomplish. We're offered to help them. In other words, when they say like, I want to do this, a good friend of mine actually said, I want to run a gym. That's his big thing. I'm like, bro, I've owned 2 gyms. He knew this about me already. I said, tell you what, man, let's open a 3rd one. And I remember exactly where I was. I was at Denny's here in National City during a major rainstorm several years ago. And this is a dude who didn't graduate from high school. He's short 1 class, 1 credit, never really built on it. And his whole thing is like, he loves UFC. I said, bro, I told him, here's what you do. Do this, and we'll keep working on it. And when the opportunity arises, we'll be ready for it. It's gonna take a few years, but we're there. And this guy's just like, dude, you have no idea how happy this makes me. This is my dream. He never showed up to the gym to do even 1 class of training. Never once. I still talk to him. And then I once in a while I make fun of him about it because his whole life has just been like chaos since then, man. And he got arrested trying to smuggle some stuff into prison. Right, because he was trying to help out his dad. So hopefully you can start to see the red flags as we were going down the line. Because of that, he ended up losing his driver's license, and he got pulled over with his suspended license. Just chaos in his life. And he's always like, as soon as I get all of this stuff squared away, then I'll be ready to start working on my dreams. And by the way, this guy is one of the funniest people I have ever met. And I don't mean like people say, oh, I'm funny. I'm not funny. I'm teacher funny. Like I'm funnier than like Hatfield or whatever. But I'm not, but you put me up there on the stage with like Dave Chappelle, dude, no way. This guy is funny. This guy, my friend, he's comedian funny. This guy is hilarious. He does routines. As we're just sitting there joking, I'm like laughing sort of, I'm crying. I'm like, bro, you need to take this onto the stage. He's gonna. And I was telling him about that place that does the open mic comedy. I'm like, bro, I'll call over, I'll get you in there, I'll pick you, you have a car, I'll pick you up, I'll drive you over there. Let me see, let me make sure I can do it this weekend. Okay. But still, I don't give up. I love connecting people, man. If there's something I find out that you're into, and I know a lot of people, man, and I find out that somebody I know does that, I'll be like, bro, here, talk to this person. This person can help you. You find out later on, these 2 people, you connect them. Yeah, because, that's how you make networks. Just connect people who have these things in common and can help each other. Iron sharpens iron. And a lot of the times when I try to do that, of course, people don't reach out to each other. I go on Instagram and say, I pull them into one chat and go, boom, do this. I have a friend who owns he's a personal trainer, and he owns an apparel company. And he does stuff here in National City, and he's always on very, very great. And I know another former student of mine who, she was fat. She lost over 100 pounds naturally. And then she has like this massive, like 100, actually I think it's like 200,000 person following now on Instagram. And I get along with her really well. And I asked her, hey, I know this guy, and you're both from National City, and so she's like, yeah, hell yeah. And it's all her. She's like, absolutely, dude. So I connect them. And then I put them together on the group chat on Instagram, and I leave. I go, you guys are connected, go for it. And then I've talked to him a few times since then, and he's been like, yeah, the opportunity for collab hasn't quite come up yet. And then I said something to her about 2 months ago. I said, hey, did so-and-so ever reach out to you? She said, no. We only ever had that one conversation that was in that group chat that you put us together. And then he said he would get back to me because he had some stuff going on. All right, all these opportunities, man. So, the star is only, unless you connect them in some way to make a constellation, to make an image out of them, they're just out there, like people, all these connections, all these things that you know, these people you know who know things, who can help you, who you can help, who you can connect with, they're just out there. They don't mean anything until you draw those lines to make the image out of them, to make meaning out of it, you know? And so how much of it we do, by the way, sometimes not everything to do with how much imagination you've got. Yeah. How about this? What have you been given in life?
Huh?
What about you? What have you been given in life? What advantages have you been given?
Well, like school,
So school, you get to come to school.
and then can't do that.
Wow. That's bad. That's bad. Here's why. I'm gonna go fix my dryer. Right? What do I have to have? Tools. Now, I can't fix it unless I have the tools. But having the tools means nothing. Imagine if I have a toolbox and it sits there, and I'm like, yeah, I got tools. What do you have? I don't know. Well, can you fix the dryer with it? I don't know. All I know is I have tools. You gotta open that box. You have to know what you got. And once you know what you've got, you can say, dude, yeah, I can fix this dryer, but I can also now go fix my drain. But dude, I have enough stuff here. I can actually fix my car too. I can fix, in other words, you have to know what you've got available to you. And once you know what advantages you have, then you can say, I can take advantage of these things. Yeah. So that's why I said that's bad. I don't mean like it's that you're a terrible person, although you are. Joking. But all I mean is that like I think that's probably most people. Like if I were to ask you, what advantages do you have in life? What are the things that can help you? You know, it's a lot of times it's difficult for us to imagine it. You know, I think, did I write it there? Yeah, gratitude. Gratitude, because when we start off, Carlos said that it's about making the most of things, and sometimes it is about making the most of what you have. Maybe with the most of what you have won't make you the absolute best in the world. Like I got to play, for example, I got to play Division I baseball at UCLA. What were the advantages that I had over everybody else? I'll tell you what they were not. I'm 5'9". The average baseball player is over 6 feet tall. Most third basemen, which is the position I played, are like 6'1", 6'2". And they're all like 70 pounds heavier than me, and that's all like muscle. These guys are huge, dude. When you actually stand next to professional players, or even Division I players, it's a huge difference, man. It's a huge difference. So I'm standing next to, like, the next shortest guy on the team is like, it's about here. And I'm looking at this guy, and I'm like, all right, so I'm not going to win on power. And then you think, oh yeah, but you're small, you can win on speed. No, those guys got legs that are like bigger than my waist, man. These guys are fast also. All right, I'm not going to win on power, not going to win on speed. So how did I get on the team? I didn't give up. There's no quit in me. I wouldn't give up. That's all it was. I got cut from tryouts. It was a 1 week tryout. I got cut from tryouts on the second day. I went back the third day. I'm like, that's unfortunate. And went back anyway. And then the day after that, the coach ended up talking to me and was like, who are you? And I told him, I said, oh, my scouting's all, we don't have you on the list. I said, that's because you cut me a couple of days ago. I said, why are you still coming? I said, I don't think you saw the best of me. You know, and he's like, well, what's the best of you? I said, I don't give up. He said, let's find out. So he gave me a drill to do. It's called 30-something. In short, you go to your position, and then they hit the ball to you. And you have to field it cleanly, make the throw to first base. That's one. You had to do it 30 times in a row. But the ball's not hit to you every time. You have to run. You have to, and as you get over there, you make the play, you throw to first, you have to run back to your position. It's constant sprinting. If you miss one, you start all over again. So I was getting up there, 21, 22, 23. The coach hit one that was outside of my range. Not supposed to do that. I went running for it, didn't get there. He's all right, start all over. Okay, jogged back. Got up to the 20s again, start all over. Got to the 20s again, start all over. And then I had to stop at one point, ran beside the field, threw up, and then ran back to my position. And he's just like, you know, he's like, why are you still doing that? I said, because I don't give up, I told you. So he said, all right, well, they put me on the team and just said, you aren't going to play much, but you get a uniform. And so I'm all, that's all I want, man, to be able to be there. I'm going to be on that team and be on that field and get the chance to play like that. You know, because that's, you know, I recognize what I didn't have, but I could have lamented it and been like, oh man. When people ask me, why didn't you play pro? I'll tell them, I wasn't good enough. For some reason that shocks people. Like, oh, why? Not everybody's good enough? No, dude, it didn't matter how hard I worked. It didn't matter how good I got. I was not going to be good enough. When you see what a professional MLB player is, dude, those are like just like gods on earth, dude. Every single one of them. Even the one you sit and go, that guy sucks. That guy is still a god among men. He's just not a god among gods. So you have to know what you have available to you. You have to know the tools. You have to know what you don't have available so you can use the tools that you have. You know, and if you fix cars, if you fix anything, you'll see that. Sometimes you're not going to have the screwdriver. You'll be like, oh, I don't have the one that fits. I don't have the small one. Oh, listen. Okay, I can use this. Then it's just great. I have that available to me. You have to know what you have available, and what you don't have available to you, you figure out a way to get around it, man. He is the king. King JJ and Jazz. The reason I ask that is because I know a lot of people. I mean, shoot, our classes are full of people who come from other countries, and some of them work harder, some of them don't. I have students who it feels like I'm having to like drag them across a finish line. They're kicking and screaming, not wanting to get an education, and even just not wanting to be here, wanting to go back to someplace else. It's like, yeah, but what do your parents know? That your parents sacrificed a lot to bring you here, man, to get you here. Even I have people who cross over at 4:30 in the morning. It's like, why do you think they have you cross over at 4:30 in the morning? Because they know something that you don't know, which is that there's something better to be had in the world. And by better, I mean, there's a reason that people line up for it. And we have a lot of complaints about it, but one thing that that just strikes me, and I'm glad I still noticed this, but after lunch I walk out here and I see all kinds of food just thrown around the hallways, man. And I'm just like, dude, there are people and by the way, the Philippines, not even considered an especially poor country. It's a poor country compared to the United States. Because the United States, in terms of how much wealth we have, I mean, everybody else, forget about it. We have a higher GDP than the entire European Union. And the European Union in Western Europe is the wealthiest region in the world. We have a higher gross domestic product than the European Union. We have a higher per capita gross domestic product than the whole European Union, which means the average person here even makes more money. I mean, it's unreal how wealthy we are. I mean, we're wealthy to the point that if you go back to certain parts of the Philippines and you tell them in the United States, we throw food at each other. They'll be like, bullshit. It's like a few years ago during the pandemic when people were flipping out over toilet paper and water. We remembered a better time in our lives. We used to decorate the houses of our enemies with toilet paper and eggs. And then you go back a few years ago and the stuff's super expensive. We used to throw it at people we didn't like. Oh, we hate you. Here's an egg. But I don't know that there's a way to appreciate it. In other words, we're so used to it. That's why I asked that question of would they appreciate it? Because if you grow up around it, I don't think anybody in here really realizes how wealthy they are. Even if you feel like, I'm not rich, yeah, you are. Dude, I'm not Bill Gates rich. Only Bill Gates is Bill Gates rich. Only Elon Musk is Elon Musk rich. We are magnificently wealthy compared to kings who are alive right now, but also kings who lived throughout history. But that doesn't impact us. What impacts us is that I have an iPhone 14. It's it's a 4-year-old phone. It's yeah, but I don't know. But gaining gratitude, it's tough. You can't just tell a person, be grateful. Oh, okay. But maybe seeing it and then going back to it once in a while, or being old enough when you left it to see that difference might be a key to it. Because again, you can't really be grateful. I mean, gratitude is one of those things that's going to change your life in terms of happiness. The more grateful you can be, the happier you're going to be. The less grateful you are, the more miserable you're going to be. I'm thinking of somebody I know right now who brags to people about how they earn 6 figures. I earn 6 figures. I'm independent. I'm that. I've never heard of a more miserable person than this person. It's like you point out to him and go, yeah, but you're still a miserable person. And yet you brag about all of these things that you do, and you've just proven something. Someone like you can never be happy. someone like you can never, ever be happy. It doesn't matter what you have. It's what you bring. It's not what you collect, it's what you bring to every situation. And what this miserable human being brings to every situation is themselves. This person is like schizophrenic, man. I don't care if people don't like me. And then the very next minute is begging for people to love them. And you can sit there and go, I think I know a lot about you based off of that. You know? Your life, if you've ever had money and then you've had none, you've had money, you've had none, you can find yourself happy throughout it. It just means you're a happy person. Yeah. That's a good approach, by the way. Because a lot of people, when you tell them, like, you have such a good life there, will scratch our chin and frown and go, that's because you only see that side of America. It's like, oh, shut up. You know, you come on, dude. I was laughing when we were talking about the school looking at an apartment because I spent a lot of time in Israel, and I was supposed to go teach Krav Maga, this thing, long story, at this university, and it was in Tel Aviv. So I got the address, and I'm thinking like it's gonna look like, you know, UCLA, or it's gonna look like UCSD. I get there and I'm lost. I can't. I mean, the guy dropped me off, and I called my friend. I said, "Yeah, I can't find this place." The guy dropped me off at an apartment complex, literally. And he goes, "Yeah." He says, "Okay, to you, it's gonna look like an apartment complex. That's a university in Israel. Come through the front gate." So I walked around, and he met me out, and I go, "Oh, shoot!" I felt like a complete jerk because I was like, "This isn't as good as the United States." You know, like, you know, it humbles you, and you're kind of like, "All right," and you go in there, and then, you know, you accept that there are places that are just different. So, I'm wondering, what happens to kids?
Not really.
Kids now.
No, you're not anymore.
Oh wait, we were the kids that we were.
Yeah, you're kids when it suits you. Don't scream at me, I'm just a kid. But then, yeah, I'm just a baby. I don't know any different. I don't know. Okay, then let me take your cell phone away from me. You can't take it away from me, I'm a grown-ass man. No, because something happens to us. You see a little kid over at, years ago, several years ago now, in fact, so long ago, there used to be a Target down here where the Smart and Final is. It used to be a Target. And I was in the parking lot one time navigating, and I saw this little kid, and he had a mask on and a cape. And he's standing there at the car. He's like, whatever old this is, he's like this old. And his mom is like putting stuff into the trunk, and he's standing there, looking out for mom. And he's taking this stuff seriously, man. Why is he doing that? Well, quite clearly, he's a superhero. Don't you realize it? Look at him, the guy's serious. He means this. And I walked past him, and I remember I parked, and I'm walking past him, and I gave him the nod, and he goes, very seriously as well. He was in character, man. I remember one time, this is a long time ago, when Star Wars, The Phantom Menace came out. Oh, yeah, exactly. I know. Yes. I was walking through a Vons with a friend of mine, and they had the wrapping paper there, so I picked up the wrapping paper because what's wrapping paper? What's wrapping paper? It's a lightsaber, goddamn right. And I stood there because right, like maybe like from me to the wall right there was a Pepsi display, I think it was, whatever it was. It was a cardboard cutout of Darth Maul from Star Wars. And he's standing there holding his red lightsaber. I saw him. I happened to be next to the wrapping paper. So I reach in and I pull out the wrapping paper. My friend's standing there, she's talking to me, she looks at me, she sees the wrapping paper, she sees Darth Maul, and she says, "No, don't you dare." This was bigger than me though. The galaxy was riding on this one. And so I challenged him and I attacked him. I'm over there with the wrapping paper, fighting with him. People stop and they're watching. I finally strike him down because I had to, not out of anger, if you understand. And he drops and everybody in the place starts cheering for me. I saved the galaxy, man. And I look around because I figure the one person who should be supporting me, my friend, I look around, she's gone. I find her later, standing by the car. And she's like, "You are so embarrassing. Like, am I supposed to let this guy take over the galaxy? Dude, none of you guys would be here right now if I hadn't fought that fight 20 years ago." Whatever it was. Yeah, exactly. I remember thinking to myself, what happened to her? Such that you can't even see a lightsaber. Yeah. You can't even enjoy something like that, something little like that. You should grow up. Yeah. The goal of life maybe is to die as young as possible, as late as possible. You know? Because, I mean, isn't that what builds life, is imagination? We tell you guys, grow up, stop that, don't wear the cape, do not fight Darth Maul and Vons. What is wrong with you? Grow the hell up. Anyway, so how come you guys don't have any imagination? Well, pick your poison, man. Which one is it going to be? Yeah, I mean, you come up with the iPhone not because you don't have imagination. You come up with it because you have imagination. We're launching rockets up. And does it strike anybody else? Like, bro, you guys walk outside your house right now and you take a video because you see a rocket being launched into space, and it's going to come back. But doesn't it seem weird to you? Like, doesn't it stand out at all that you live in a time right now where rockets are being launched up into space and you just go, huh, more rockets. That's interesting. Man, in our day, when there was a space shuttle launch, the whole country would stop and be like, oh, rocket, oh, space. And there was this huge event. The news was covering it. It was all now the news doesn't even cover it. The only reason I even know it happens is because I see people posting things on Instagram. Look, rocket goes space. We're living in a time of incredible wonder and imagination. And we're so hyper-fixated that we're living in a time of terrible problems. Yeah, well, good thing we have imagination. That's how you solve problems. And then when you solve problems, what do? You create other problems with them, which imagination manages to solve. That's what we call progress. That's what we call development. The only reason that we're launching rockets into space right now is because Elon Musk thinks an asteroid's going to hit us at some point, and we might have to get off the planet. Better start preparing for it now rather than in 100 years, 200 years, 300 years. That's the only reason, because there's a problem that we're aware of. We're trying to solve the problem. As we solve that problem, we end up solving other ones in their places. And we could just sit there and go, asteroid's going to hit us. Life is so unfair. We don't deserve dogs. Man, nobody sees the other side of the United States. Or we can look at it and say, there's a problem that can be solved. I bet we can do it. Let's open up our toolbox and see what's available to us. Let's see what skills and talents we have, and then put them together with the toolboxes of other people. And I bet that we can solve those problems. I'm an eternal optimist, man. I don't think there's any problem we can't solve. Anything that we're going through right now as people, or as a species, or as individuals, everything is like a car, dude. There's a solution. We just gotta find it. We just gotta find it. And the solutions are gonna be found by people who are actually looking through a toolbox, have imagination. And so, I hope you guys all die young at a very, very old age. Yeah, at a very old age, though. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms?